The songs how like me, poets at an arcade, soaking moonlit falls on broken paths inundated or that we call home, and it's night and I'm alone and I'm alive.
Welcome to Talkin VAWLS, episode, I had to look it up, number 92, brought to you by the Outright Geekery Podcast Network. JP, come on, buddy. I know it's the off season. Get yourself in gear. We'll get ready when things get rolling. Outright Geekery Podcast
I turned my
Network.
phone down, I swear.
Yeah.
I
Okay,
turned it
Boomer.
down and it still
Okay,
does.
Boomer.
It still does it.
Everybody in the live chat, this is what happens. I set up the stream. I send the invites. Dauber comes in first. He's like, what's up, man? I'm like, hey, what's up? JP comes in and goes, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Every time. Brought to you by the Outright Geekery Podcast Network at outrightgeekery.com. We are also live on Facebook, Twitch, Periscope, and right here on the Talkin VAWLS Network. Make sure you smash that. Look at this shirt. It's perfect. Smash that thumbs up. Share out the link. Let's grow the live chat. I don't even know what we're going to talk about tonight, but my name is Boogie Bentley.
I'm Vols JP.
I'm Dauber. What's happening, fellas?
Let's get into it. We got some people hanging out in the live chat. First and foremost, shout out to Robert Craig for becoming a member of the channel. And also Jordan Young just became a member of the channel. So thank you guys for that. We got OBH hanging out. Says, howdy from Gray. What's going on? JJ Banks is here. Rush Getty says, it's going to be a barn burner. He must have his whiskey ready to go. We're glad you guys are here. We really don't even know what we're going to talk about. This show,
Is that
this
a
is your
cat
show.
emoji?
I think it's a rabbit, man.
Is it a rabbit?
On the screen right now?
Yeah, I can't tell. I'm about blind.
The members of the channel do have access to custom UT Talkin VAWLS emojis, as you can see down there. I added a new one for this week, and it's just Coach Pruitt. Just Coach Pruitt's head. That's all it is. Sean Calvert's here. Wayne Shelton is here. He says,
From
and
Florida.
I'm Wayne from Florida. Hope you're staying safe down there, buddy.
Safe. Yeah.
Michael Palmer says, hello from North Carolina. What's going on, guys? Again, everybody's flooding in here. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. We're going to get into it. I don't even know what we're going to get into just yet. I guess let's just talk about everything that's going on. How times have changed, because what was the last show? I think we went live like a month ago, 3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Johnny Majors.
Yeah, and we were all talking about how we thought football season was going to happen. We were all pretty optimistic, and I'm not so sure anymore.
Getting a little nervous, I have to admit.
I-
It's not trending well.
For me, it kind of ebbs and flows, man. There are days when I'm like, yeah, we're going to play. And then you've got stuff, I don't know if you guys saw yesterday, TSSAA has said high school football in Tennessee will not start in August. And I think they threw out some scenarios today that talked about what they're potentially going to do. But, man, I don't know. It's just it's crazy, the times that we're living in right now.
Yeah, I think the TSSAA said September 18th was the earliest that they would see the season start because of the whatever it was that Lee extended the emergency whatever through the end of August. So they're saying that there's not going to have any kind of contact sports during the month of August. So these high schools won't even be able to even start practicing until September.
Right.
From what I understand. So, yeah, I'm telling you, it's going to be, I think eventually that we'll find a way to play just because of the money aspect of it. And just because that these schools depend on college football so much. But I think that there's no way that we're going to see 100,000 people like in the background of that picture there in Neyland Stadium this year. I just don't see that happening. Just don't see it happening.
And there's the rumors of a late start even for college. They talked about the spring. maybe they just push it back to spring. But even that, man, creates so many complications. Because what do you do if you push this season back to the spring? Then what are you going to do about spring practice for next season? And then if everything's delayed, how do you get back on track from there?
Well, and just talking about in Tennessee and in general, I mean, if you think about it, if college football is pushed back till say starts in January, February, whatever, which really doesn't make any sense to me, because if that virus is still here in October or November, then why is it not going to be even worse during the regular flu season anyway? Because you're going to have the regular flu season to deal with on top of the coronavirus. So that's never really made any sense to me, unless that they are able to get a vaccine for it before then. But getting back to the football side of things, if it was to be played in the spring, I mean, that there's going to be like people like Trey Smith, Cade Mays, those two guys, they're not going to play this spring, knowing that the NFL draft is going to be in April. They're just not going to do it. I mean, you're going to have tons of seniors and eligible draft picks that they just won't play this year. And for me, for Tennessee, I mean, that's going to stink, because, I mean, if that ends up happening, because, we was all expecting Tennessee's offensive line to be one of the strongest in the nation. I mean, that they were going to help carry this football team.
I was waiting on Dauber to say something. I mean, I don't know what the answer is. I don't know.
And I mean, honestly, I just can't imagine another not having one more year with Garantano.
I'm going to clip that and post it on Twitter and tag him in it. Oh, wait, we're blocked. Never mind. I won't do that. Robert Craig says, didn't they just pros cancel the first 2 weeks of preseason already? And maybe that's the thing. I just don't see how you can push it back to spring. I just don't see how that's a possibility. But maybe, we've talked about the limited schedule, cutting out the non-conference games. And then if you did that, you could push it back at least, a month, maybe 5 weeks. There's a big difference. The way this whole thing's playing out, things change in 4 to 5 weeks. But the problem is there's no answer. We're all just grasping at straws. Even in the workplace, like churches, like everybody's just making it up as they go, because they have no idea how to deal with this.
Well, yeah. And the thing is, it's what you just alluded to. It's such a fluid situation. It seems to change and evolve day to day, week to week. And if you look at the country, in areas of the country, it's migrating. It's changing. You have states opening up. You have states requiring masks. You've got all these different things. We went to test drive cars there a couple weeks ago, and crossed over into Virginia, and that was the day after Northam issued the mandatory masks in public, blah blah blah. And I looked over and said to my wife, "We just crossed the state line. You better put your mask on." In jest, because it seems to be taken more serious some places, taken lightly some places. It's just nobody knows. Like you just said, it's one of these things. I don't think anybody has the right answer. It's crazy. If we would have thought last January, coming off of the bowl win, looking ahead to this season, the momentum we had would be stalled and up in the air and questionable going into the season because of a virus. Would you have thought that?
It's very fitting for Tennessee, though. It only makes sense. Hopkins Across fan is here. He says the band is back together for happy hour. Cheers, guys, and go Big Orange. Thanks for the super chat. We always appreciate your support, and always glad to see you hanging out in the live chat.
Going back to what Robert was talking about the NFL, I know that they canceled the Hall of Fame preseason game and the Hall of Fame ceremony. From my understanding, all that's been pushed back. But I haven't heard anything else about the NFL. I did see a report today that there's a rumor circulating that they're going to require fans to sign a like a waiver, a COVID waiver, I guess, if they attend games this fall. I guess saying that they can't come back and sue them if they become ill and possibly their families sue them if they die from COVID, I guess. So, and I mean, that's something that I could definitely see these colleges doing as well. Whether or not, something like that holds up in court, who knows?
I mean, I know the last three, the three softball tournaments that we've had for my oldest daughter, we've had to sign a form each week saying that we are fine with our child participating in the tournament. So the tournament director has that on file. I guess it's just a CYA there, and they're just protecting themselves and their organization that's holding the tournament. So, yeah, I mean, it's one of these things. We talked about it the last time we were together. This whole thing has changed life as we know it, and it's just an adjustment, and we're going to have to get used to that and do what we've got to do to maintain some kind of normalcy.
And that's the thing is, are we just going to get back to living life? I mean, like Troy Lee says, live life to the fullest. I mean, at what point do we just move on? And this is what we have to deal with. I don't know. I'm over it. I'm over it.
And I think that's what a lot of these governors are trying to do. Of course, some of them are starting to pull back more and everything. But I mean, this country cannot survive by just sitting in neutral and just sitting here. I mean, we just can't do it. I mean, it's not going to happen. I mean, I don't know what the answers are to it. I would hate to be the one trying to make those decisions, but I mean, I definitely think that the best thing to do is to just carry on. And like some of them have said, if you're scared about it, if you have concerns about it, if you got family that you feel like is high risk, then you're going to have to make those adjustments. But it's not going to be something that everybody is just going to have to be completely just shut down over, because it's not going away.
Yeah. The good thing is for Tennessee, nobody has tested positive yet. That's a good sign. But
two basketball players.
Yeah, but nobody. Oh, well, I'm talking on the football team.
But let's talk about that. I mean, would it not be kind of better if you did have the majority of your team possibly, get it in the off season and the preseason than 2 weeks before the Florida game, or excuse me, 3 days before the Florida game?
Are you throwing out the Boomer Esiason
the old theory that
Clemson, LSU,
and,
Alabama, all these that have had 20 plus or whatever testing positive, that they've done it on purpose?
Well, haven't they come out and said, though, now that you can get it again? It's not like you can just get it once.
That's what I was going to say. There is
but nobody knows. That's the whole thing with it either.
They just make
really
it up.
knows.
Like, it's so funny the way things change. Like, 1 week it's wear a mask. You have to wear a mask. If you don't, then you're killing somebody's grandma. And then the week after that, it's like, well, masks don't really work. They're still putting your germs out into the atmosphere. It's like they're just making it up as they go, which is why I'm over it. I'm like, let's just move on. Let's just move on. That's just me. And Troy Lee, obviously.
I mean, that's kind of what I said too. I mean, I just don't see how that you can just continue to, keep this country down and keep these, people down. I mean, it's just not going to happen. I mean, people, it's going to end up worse, because you're going to end up people, on the streets. You're going to end up with people in some dire situations that aren't used to that. And at some point in time, the decisions that's probably made with this virus could end up killing more people outside of the virus itself. So I don't know.
Can we talk about something else?
Maybe it'll all become virtual. We'll all be sitting around. We'll be watching Tennessee players play football games on video games.
We've already been watching it. What are you talking about?
Oh, well,
have you not been watching it? You haven't been watching it? What's his name? Coach Gus?
Yeah, he left us though, didn't he?
Yeah, he went back to Toledo, won a national championship there too.
They said that there was actually recruits and some players that got concerned over that when they first saw that. Thought something had happened to Pruitt. I swear.
Oh God!
I swear.
Oh God!
I'm like, how in the world? I mean, I guess that tells you just how much of a factor that social media is and everything.
Oh
So,
sure. JJ
you
Banks
know.
says, "I want to talk about recruiting." JP did a recruiting video, what, about a week ago?
I mean, a week or two ago, I guess. Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard that. If not, make sure you go back and give that a listen. Recruiting Roundup video, it is up there. We're trying to bring you guys more content, especially as we get into football season. As we learn more, we're dropping way more content this season. But JP, is there any updates since that video, or is it pretty much the same as
Yeah,
it was?
it's pretty much status quo. I think Peyton Page and Small Munden are the two that supposedly may make a decision this month in July, but sounds like Clemson's crawled back into it pretty good with Peyton Page, and nobody really knows. They say that nobody really knows what that Small Munden may end up doing. So with that, I mean, it would be two absolutely huge gets for Tennessee, but fighting Clemson for Munden, or excuse me, Clemson for Peyton Page and UNC, and then you got basically Auburn and the home state school Georgia for Munden. So you're basically fighting the cream of the crop there. So it'd be tough pulls for sure. But I think Tennessee, from what I've read, they've done everything they possibly can. So we'll see.
That's another thing, talking about pushing the season back, or even Dauber mentioning high school getting canceled. How's that going to impact recruiting?
Big time. I mean, we've already seen this cycle of recruits. I was talking to a guy at work last week. You've got these recruiting services redoing their rankings when none of these kids have been going to camps. You've not had anybody actually putting eyes on anything other than tape, and then they're reevaluating their numbers. Tennessee, most of their guys, I think, dropped in their overall numbers. I think they had one or two that did receive a little bit of a bump in status, but
I actually had that down here somewhere. Where was it?
It's going to be something that if you do have starting at the high school level, if that is impacted, if they are losing games, even seasons, where does that put these kids? You have college coaches who aren't going to have the kids come to their camps, which that's the main way that recruiting has changed in the last 10, 15 years. Most of these kids do a circuit of camps, and that is where they get seen. It's not necessarily the old put together a package, a tape package, and you mail it out. It's changed so much this day and age. But you're going to be limited in terms of exposure for these young kids, except for the 4 really high 4 stars and 5 stars that are still going to have that exposure.
Yeah, it's gonna completely change the way recruiting goes. And then even on top of that, again, you push the season back. Like Robert Craig was asking me today, what's the deal with Harrison Bailey? He had all this hype behind him, and it's like that kid lost his entire spring. He lost his entire spring. I mean, that's a huge difference. It's come, especially as a true freshman. It's hard enough to get a starting job as a true freshman over a 5th-year senior, but now you don't even have the spring. Dextro wants to know any updates on Salter at Elite 11. Everything I saw was that he was turning some heads there.
He started slow, but then I think yesterday he came out and was on fire and spinning it well.
But don't get too excited or too ahead of yourself, because JG was also made it into the Elite 11 finals. So
Yeah, there was somebody, who was it? Dilfer had some decent comments about Salter, from what I understand, but I hadn't really read much on it. I don't know if he made like the top 5 or whatever. I guess it's still going on. I guess, isn't it?
yeah,
I don't even know.
didn't it get delayed or pushed back?
May have.
I thought it did. For
I know
some
that they
reason.
was a weather delay there one night. I think they said.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So, any word on Amarius Mims, other than just from everything I've read, that Tennessee's still talking to him and he's still talking to Tennessee, but I think most people think that it would be a miracle if he ends up picking Tennessee over Georgia or Bama. So.
Let's. I want to talk about something else. The title of the podcast was Coach Jeremy Pruitt and the Future of Tennessee Football, and this may be controversial to some people. I think it's worth talking about. You know, they came out with the announcement that they're going to wear the black jerseys against Kentucky on November 7th, and donate the money. I think what scared people or upset people was all it said was that they were going to donate. What are they going to auction off the jerseys and sell the proceeds to Black Lives Matter? And I think some people got hot about that, and I would say rightly so. I don't think the money needs to go to a political movement, but we talked about it off air. There's a difference between Black Lives Matter, the organization, and Black Lives Matter, the movement. And what I want to say, and I want to get your opinion. We'll talk about.
Let me cut you off here real quick. Let's start and say let's not take this in a political shift.
No, and that's where I was going.
Okay.
What I was going to say is, for me, the positive that I take away from it is that Coach Pruitt sat down with his players and said, I want to listen to you. You guys tell me what you want or what you need. And I think that says a lot about him as a coach. It says a lot about him as a man, that you have to listen first. And I think him doing that and him showing support for his players, you know, we can talk about being a good ball coach and being this, that, or the other. One of the things that a lot of people praised Fulmer for was he was raising good young men. And I think this statement, Pruitt sitting down with his players, is showing that he's interested in more than football games.
Yeah, I really liked seeing him along with Niedermeyer and a couple of the other coaches coming out to the rally that they had in Market Square. And you know, I think Pruitt actually took to the stage and spoke very briefly, along with Calvert and Trey Smith. And like you said, he's listening. And he was speaking to the courage for those players stepping up and being leaders and going about trying to influence and encourage change in a positive way. I like to see that, very supportive of that. And like you said, just it shows Pruitt's makeup, not just as a coach, but as a man, and a man who is in charge of being a leader and an example to other young men. And we've talked about it time and time again with how he has handled and dealt with issues that have come up during the season. When players get in trouble, he does always seem to be have the best interest of the young man first and foremost, and then the player.
I want to address Troy Lee. Says he better not give that money to Black Lives Matter organization. He's not. They did come back and say that they're going to keep the money local in the Knoxville community. I don't know exactly where it's going there, but I think they're going to make the right decisions.
Yeah, I think what I heard, that T. Martin come on there and said that they really hadn't made a decision yet as far as where, but from everything he stated, that it was going to stay within the Knoxville area. And, you know, I know when they came out that day, we were texting back and forth, and, you know, I know that's what I said. I said, you know, I hope that this money stays locally, because to me, I mean, that's where it needs to. I mean, if this university is going to do it, then, to me that they need to make sure that money stays locally and helps the community down there and everything.
At the very beginning of getting into this, we can be like Pruitt. We can listen. We can take notice of athletes or African American people in general when they bring up something like racism and just we can't generalize and rationalize their thoughts and feelings on it, because we have generalized and rationalized thoughts and feelings on it. It's that we've got to meet them in the middle. We've got to listen to them. They've felt like they've not had a voice. They've not had somebody listen to them. And that's, I don't even know that me sitting here talking about it as a young white male, that even comes close to what it is. I mean, it is a problem. It's a problem that this country has been dealing with. It's a problem that there was a war over, and it's a problem that the civil rights movement happened, 60 years ago, and we're still dealing with this problem. It's the year 2020, and if you can't look at another human being, regardless of their skin tone, and say that they're just as much of a human being as I am, then there's some big things wrong right there.
Amen. It is. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous what. And I mean, that's what I said. I mean, I just absolutely hate it. I mean, I hate to see what is going on in this country. I mean, I don't know. It just really, really bothers me. It does. It does.
This is a great comment. Good point, Blitz. As long as they wear Tennessee orange, then they're good in my book. And Tammy says, all we can change at the end of the day is ourselves. And that's a good point. And it goes back to what JP said. I don't know what you can do to change somebody's heart. Well, that's what the live chat wants to. They're mad at us. They want us to get back to talking Tennessee football. And that's what we're here to do, because you guys run this show and we'll do whatever you want. We're here to talk football. We're here to talk Tennessee athletics. I just thought the main reason I wanted to bring it up is just to touch on Pruitt. I think it says a lot about him as a person to sit down with his players and say, I'm listening, you guys talk. I think that says a lot about him. And I think we got a good football coach and a good man down there in Knoxville right now. What else we got to talk about? Did we talk about Tim Jordan being gone? I think it might have happened. Well, I don't remember. I don't remember if we mentioned it last time or not.
I think maybe that he had gotten arrested, but I don't think that obviously that he had been dismissed. booted. Yeah, dismissed from the team. But I mean that's certainly going to be an opportunity for one of these freshmen to step in.
Well, and it sounds like T. Hodge is the guy that's getting all the buzz. But it's hard. It's hard when, I mean, what are the running backs even doing? I mean, what are they even doing right now? But I think Pruitt's talking about his work ethic and film study and all that stuff. He's eager and excited to try to get in early. But I'm really not worried about the running back position. I'm really not.
You're not.
I'm not.
Well,
we weren't worried about the quarterback position last year at this time either.
We're worried about the offensive line though, and the defensive line. We don't know what we're talking about. I don't know why people are even here.
Honestly, Gray, he had a couple of really good games, especially there at the end of the year against Vandy and Indiana in the bowl game. But there were several parts of the season there that he kind of just disappeared, whether I'm not sure that he just wasn't part of the game plan or what. But then, of course, Chandler, hopefully that, he can continue and have a really good senior season. I guess the big concern about running back I got is if one of those two guys get hurt, and then, then you are looking at some slim pickings there.
Well, I'm going to throw this out there. Do you have any eligibility left, JP?
No,
The potential for that offensive line, I think you could run behind them.
Oh yeah, buddy. Yeah.
We'll put you right down there.
What are you talking about? He's going to start at center.
Yeah, I think I run the 40 in a 30-minute sundial or something like that, or whatever, a 30-day sundial.
They were going to clock my 40 time, but I quit running.
Yeah. So, but no, I mean, I'm very excited about the offensive line if we get to play for sure. I think it could be really, really good for sure.
So that's like you said, with the emergence of Gray at the end of last season. If he can continue that, you've got Chandler, a guy that can spell him, or that's a good combo right there. But like you said, it does give the opportunity for one of the younger guys to kind of step in and assume that kind of third spot. And we've seen the last couple of years the rotation that we've had at running back. We've used more than two guys. So I think you.
Sorry. Jeremy Webb says, what about Crouch and Banks? Well, I think you probably just named your starting linebacker and backup linebacker opposite of Henry T. Would you not think?
Yeah,
if Banks comes back, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, if he's talking about Crouch and Banks at running back, I mean, the only thing I think you could see there is Crouch in the
goal line package.
Yeah. Again, I mean, that's pretty much it. But I think both of those, are going to be, nearly 100% off. I mean, defense. Sorry. Yeah, with that. So supposedly Banks, from my understanding, he's not been confirmed back on the team. But from everything that they're saying, that he is going to be back on the team once they do officially start fall camp, I guess.
Have they even announced a potential date for that?
Didn't they come out with some of those some of those schedules? Of course, now I guess it's all subject to change, like everything else is right now. But I thought that they came out with those schedules because, from what I understand, typically fall camp is just 30 days. But I thought they were talking about that it was going to be more like 6 weeks this time. But the first 2 weeks was going to be just getting the players acclimated again. So I think that it was going to be more of just helmets and so forth like that. Now I might be wrong. I know that they put something out there, but I don't have it in front of me.
Jordan Young wants to know what we think about the wide receiver position. Obviously, it's a concern. I think there's a lot of unknown there. You would hope a guy like Keaton would hopefully step up.
I think as far as an upgrade, I think that you have to look at speed and athleticism there. I mean, I think with Keaton and Jalen Hyatt, and then you've got Jimmy Holiday. Is it the Jimmy Callaway too? Both of those guys. From what I read about Holiday, they said that he's already pretty much moved to wide receiver. I think his experiment at quarterback evidently didn't even last until they even started practicing. So with that, and then like Jordan Young says, Gibbs there with that. So I think where Tennessee, obviously the last couple of years, it was more just probably just the more physical type receivers. Obviously with Jawan Jennings and Callaway being able to go up and get the jump balls and Palmer and stuff. Of course Palmer's back, but with all that, but I think just the overall athletic ability and the speed, I think, is where Tennessee really upgraded. Now, whether or not that turns into production, I mean, that's yet to be seen, obviously.
Well, I mean, the things that we're all excited about, the offensive line, the running backs, you would think you get those quick receivers out there, you establish a run game, and then you use play action and stretch the field, man, with those guys and their speed. But it's all easy to sit here and plan that from my man cave.
Got Brandon Johnson as well.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I mean, I could see Brandon Johnson being more the third down possession type, when they need it and it's third down and 5 or third down and 6, one of those type of receivers and stuff like that. So, yeah, and like Michael Palmer saying there, Weidman too. I forgot about him. I mean, from my understanding, that kid's a freak of an athlete. So, really excited to see him. But I mean, they are young, and those that were on campus there in January. I mean, that's what stinks about the whole Corona thing as far as the spring goes is those kids just didn't get the opportunity to take in practice and stuff like that. So
yeah, I'm excited for Palmer, man. I think Palmer got overlooked a lot last year because of Jennings and Callaway, and I think he made some big time catches last season. And I think it'll be interesting to see him be that number one guy, get an opportunity to shine. I think he's a good football player, and we just took it for granted because he was number 3.
yeah.
But I guess we'll find out.
I think Cade Mays will get eligibility since he moved back out. I mean, everything that I keep reading about it, that they feel like that they're very, very confident in it. But now I keep going back to, we were hearing that last year about the basketball player too, and we see what happened there. So
well, I don't understand why it's dragging out so long. And I saw somebody on Volquest talking about it, asking Hubs if Georgia could be dragging their feet and causing problems, and Hubs acted like it just wasn't a big deal. Like, I don't know. It seems like it's been dragging on though. But I don't know. Anybody want to come on and talk to me while these two look at their phones?
I'm sorry. Yeah. I don't know. That's what one of them said, that they didn't think that the NCAA even had the appeal for long or whatever. So I don't know how all that works. I just know that usually the NCAA is the one that always catches the heat from the fans.
Velus Jones Jr. Speedster from USC.
Yeah.
We've.
Yeah, it sounds like that he'll probably be one of the ones that definitely on kickoff returns and maybe even punts and so forth like that. But I'm not sure what happened to him at USC. I mean, I don't think he ever really, as far as being an actual receiver, I think he struggled out there. So I don't know. I don't know much about the kid though. So
OBH, this is a good point. Wide receiver group totally dependent on great quarterback play. Let's hope JG can get it together this year. A lot of people thought Harrison Bailey was going to come in as the savior. Do you guys think any chance he starts this year? There's no way he starts week 1, but do you think he finds a way? Yeah.
I mean, not unless Garantano's just absolutely just like he was the first couple of games of the season or something like that.
Yeah, but, I think it's JG's at least through Norman.
Yeah, but if it's his job to lose, we've all seen what can happen. Man, I hope that kid comes out and balls out this year. I really do. He deserves it.
Absolutely, and he has the potential. That's the thing, and I think that is the greatest source of frustration for us as fans, because we've seen him play well, and then we've seen him play. You're talking fifth-year senior this year, and there were times last year where it looked like he was a true freshman.
Yep.
And that is what is frustrating. And we've talked about it before. I don't want to harp on it and get back on the that whole train, but I think the three of us will agree we're going to support whoever's back there, and we've said that before.
Oh yeah, whoever's going to lead this team to victories. I mean, that's where it's at. I don't care if Boogie's back there playing quarterback.
Oh God, you'd be blaming me for everything.
That's right.
Did you see where Garantano tweeted out the date of the SEC championship game? I hope he has some of that confidence and swag when we kick off. He's got it in the offseason. I hope he brings it to the table when the game starts.
I tell you what, I saw pictures of him. I mean, he's bulked up a lot. I mean, he's really He's really packed it on. He must be on the JP diet.
I tell you what, the kid's tough as nails, though. I mean, if you look back to, his first couple of years running for his life behind a Swiss cheese of an offensive line, getting absolutely pummeled week in and week out, and then even to the end of the season, to finish it out the way he did with a broken hand, that's some at least good physical toughness. I think, but between the ears is a lot of his issues, and we've discussed it. But I hope, like Boogie said, I hope the kid comes out and plays like his head's on fire. I hope he plays well, and I hope we surprise some teams this year with him under center.
And it's good for him to have some continuity going into this season too. I mean, look what that kid's been through, coaching wise, coordinator wise. It's gonna be the Ducks are in a row. Ball's in your court, JG. What are you gonna do with it?
What's up, Quentin Salts? I don't know if I've ever seen Quentin in here or not. We're good to have you tonight, Quentin.
Yeah, I have seen some new names in the chat coming through Facebook, Periscope, all over the place. If you guys are new, make sure you smash the thumbs up. Also, subscribe to the channel, the Talkin VAWLS Network. This feels like an off night for us, but really, you guys want more streams, we're going to stream, and we're kind of letting you guys drive the show. We're just picking out a comment and running with it, which is awesome. That's what I like about this show. But you guys wanted us to stream, so we are here. But during the season, we go live every Saturday after the game. We also go live Wednesdays at 7 p.m. And every now and then we do a tailgate show and drink some beer and hang out with you guys before kickoff. So subscribe to the channel and hang out. Maybe you can run the show. You never know. Anything else you guys want to talk about? We said it was going to be a short stream because I'm getting ready to jump over to the Akari Press YouTube channel and watch AEW Fighter Fest. You're more than welcome to join me over there at Akari Press.
How long is that show tonight?
2 hours. It's just it's like a regular TV taping, but it's pay-per-view quality.
Because my bedtime's about 9.
Mine too. I have to stay up for these freaking streams. I'm so exhausted the next day. Anyway, anything else? Is that it? We done? We wrapping up? I feel like Dauber's just like watching the movie. He's watching Netflix tonight. I'm
watching the chat go by.
Were you watching it earlier? They were mad at us.
Yeah, I saw that.
No, in all seriousness, you guys are awesome. We didn't mean to get political. I really don't think we got too political, but it's just something we wanted to talk about. But again, hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. For Vols JP, for Dauber Greer, I'm Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.
The dogs howl like me, poets sat in arcades, soaking moonlit falls, unbroken past this inundated orb that we call home, and it's night and I'm alone and I'm alive. The